In today's video, we're going to walk you through how to approach keyword match types when it comes to setting up a brand new Google Ads campaign, including how each match type actually works and which match type I'd actually recommend using when making a new Google Ads campaign, but also certain scenarios where it makes sense to use different match types as well. And now, just to walk you through exactly how each of the three match types work inside Google Ads, there's three different match types of your keywords, and the main differentiator between the match types is how closely relevant the search terms that you actually appear for are to the keyword itself. So, in the campaign that we're making as part of this free Google Ads course, it's for a landscaping campaign, and we might have a keyword here, for example, landscaping contractor, and that's the keyword that we've selected. But that differs from the actual search term that we've appeared for. So we could appear for somebody searching for landscaping services, but that search term is triggered by our keyword landscaping contractor, for example. So that's just one thing to be aware of, is that the search terms that we actually appear for, what the person types into Google isn't the exact same as the keyword itself, but the keyword is what triggers us to appear for that search term. And so starting out with exact match, our ads may only show on searches that are the same meaning as our keyword, so that doesn't even mean that we have a list of exact match keywords and we can only appear for those searches, because Google's a lot more advanced in that it understands that a search term doesn't have to be word for word exactly the same as our keyword to have the same intent of that keyword. So just know that when you're using exact match keywords, is that you're not limiting yourself to only these keywords as to what you want to appear for, but anything else that has the same meaning of that keyword as well. Phrase match then is more lenient in that you may appear for searches that include the meaning of your keyword, but doesn't necessarily mean the exact same thing as the keyword, but includes the meaning of the keyword. And include here is the key difference. So when we look at this landscaping contractor keyword, for example, searches that have the same meaning of the keyword could be things like landscaping services, landscaping company, because they all mean the same thing as landscaping contractor. But if this was a phrase match keyword, we could appear for a lot of searches that mention landscaping itself. So you could possibly appear for things like, for example, best landscaping ideas, because landscaping is part of the keyword and the search term includes the meaning of the keyword because it's also related to landscaping, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the search you appear for means the exact same thing as landscaping contractor. So that's the key difference between exact and phrase match, is that phrase match is a lot more lenient in that it can include the meaning of your keyword but doesn't actually necessarily does mean the same thing. So if this keyword here, landscaping contractor, was phrase match, for example, then we would likely appear for a lot of searches that are related to landscaping but doesn't necessarily indicate that the person is looking for a landscaping contractor. And broad match then is the loosest match type of the three, where ads can show on any searches that, possibly relate to the keyword. But we have seen cases as well where we've had search terms that, you'd struggle to understand how it relates to the keyword itself. So I would recommend, if you are using broad match, to do so with caution, because you will get a lot more impressions with broad match. But a lot of the search terms that you appear for when you look at your search terms report, you will see a lot of irrelevant searches that you will need to add as negative keywords. So, having briefly explained the difference between each of the match types, it should hopefully make sense why we decided to use exact match keywords exclusively for this brand new Google Ads campaign that we're creating. And the strategy that I typically recommend using is that for the services that you offer, you want to find the keywords that have the most search volume but also the highest intent, and set those as exact match at the very beginning. And what I'd recommend doing is just trying to max that out before even expanding, meaning you want to see how much traffic you can get with exact match keywords only. And then if you're struggling for search volume and you have a budget of, let's say, €50 a day, for example, and you're struggling to spend anywhere near that, then that's when you can consider loosening out and either adding in more keywords as exact match, or else possibly changing some of your keywords from exact to phrase match to help you get more search volume and actually spend your budget. So starting out a campaign with exact match is what we've always found tend to work a lot better. And you have the option then to switch some of those keywords to phrase match if you really are struggling for search volume. And the same can be said as well for phrase. If you're using phrase match keywords and you've maxed out the amount of impressions you can get with that, then you can consider a broad. But just do be aware that the looser the match types you're using, the more impressions you're getting, which is a good thing, but the more relevant searches that you'll appear for as well. which means you will need to spend more time inside your search terms report, so under insights and reports and then search terms. And you will also need to be a lot stricter on your negative keyword list as well. And you'd also want to have a lot more negative keywords added in advance, especially if you're not starting out with all exact match keywords. And I also wanted to mention as well on the point of phrase match keywords, because I see a lot of people online saying that phrase match keywords are essentially useless because broad match uses a lot of signals that phrase doesn't have access to. And while that is the case, we've actually found phrase match to work well in a lot of campaigns that were struggling for search volume, but we didn't want to go too crazy with the search terms that we'd allow ourselves to appear for. So we have found in a lot of cases phrase match to be a great balance between the strictness of exact, but not getting a huge amount of irrelevant search terms as well appearing inside our search terms report. And while I can confidently say that starting out with exact match keywords is what we found always to work best, is that later down the line, once you actually have a lot of conversion data and you're using smart bidding inside your campaigns and have a decent negative keyword list made and are continuously adding negatives, that you can also consider adding broad match keywords as well. So it's not that, for example, broad match keywords don't work, it's just also heavily dependent on where you're currently at inside your own campaign. But since this is more related to what you should start out with when making a new Google Ads campaign, it is exact match keywords that I'd recommend starting out with. But I just wanted to share some context as well as to when phrase and when broad match keywords can also work well. So I hope this video helped and just gave you some clarity on when to go about using each of the three match types inside Google Ads depending on where you're at with your current campaign, and how we'd recommend using exact match at the beginning, while phrase match can also work really well, especially when you're struggling for search volume, and how broad match keywords work really well when you actually have a decent negative keyword list made and have a lot of conversion data built up and you're using smart bidding. Now, if you do have any questions about match types or anything else related to Google Ads as a whole, feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you do like this Google Ads related content as well, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as so far inside this playlist we've covered every aspect that goes into setting up a successful Google Ads campaign from the very beginning, and the rest of the videos that we'll continuously add each day to the channel will cover the rest of the steps that go into setting up a campaign and also how to actually manage the campaign as well once it goes live. So I hope this video helps and we'll see you inside the next video.